Hey folks, this is Vint with Ant's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out the Back to the Future DLC for PowerWash Simulator. This DLC you can find on Steam for about $8 or so. You will need PowerWash Simulator, the core game, in order to make use of that. PowerWash Simulator, for those of you that don't know, is a game that's relatively chill. You go around cleaning stuff. And yes, there is a upgrade system in the sense that you can purchase new equipment and you can get better guns, better nozzles, and you can even buy soap so that you can spray different kinds of materials more easily. So this particular DLC adds 5 new maps. There is 3 vehicles and 2 buildings. The very first vehicle, or the very first level, was a vehicle, and that was Dr. Emmett Brown's truck. That was, I think, the easiest of all of them. Although, I will say that if you haven't finished, the core game and completed all of those levels, you might be at a slight disadvantage here because some of the grime and grit that's on the buildings and vehicles are tougher than others to spray off. And unless you have, the best stuff, it can take a little longer to spray everything off. For example, I only have about 130 some stars in the core game, so I haven't unlocked something called the Trident nozzle yet. That is the catch-all best nozzle in the game. It's easy mode nozzle. It makes things so much easier. It's just 3 really straight streams that shaped in like a trident. But it's really powerful and it gets stuff clean really quickly. But I don't have that yet. Idly and I played co-op with this particular DLC and finished it in about, I want to say 3 hours or so. So you're paying $8 for 3 hours roughly, which I think was a little light. I was kind of disappointed by everything that was in this. I mean, yeah, it was cool to clean off the DeLorean. I love that. And when you complete these levels, typically something really cool happens. I featured a couple of those things in this video, but anyway, it's nothing earth-shattering, but it's still cool to see. However, I wanted to see more of that fan service. You see, I'm a huge Back to the Future fan. I love the movies. I've seen the movies several times. I can probably recite them in and out. Yeah, I'm a nerd. What are you gonna do? But I love the movies. So when I play a game like this, I want to see. I want the authentic music. I want to see the characters, and unfortunately, aside from the one-off special things that happen, there wasn't a whole lot of fan service, and I was kind of disappointed by that. The clock tower, for example, I was half expecting to have the ability to actually slide down the wire cable that Doc did in the first movie to put the cables together. Spoiler. So, a spoiler on a 30-year-old movie at this point. Anyway, so yeah, so I was expecting more. For example, I wanted to see the characters. I wanted to see Emmett Brown. I wanted to see Marty McFly, even Einstein or Copernicus. This game spanned all 3 movies. The third level still being Back to the Future 1, the whole clock tower thing. So that was, again, cool, but I missed seeing more of the fan service. That was a thing. Yeah, it was cool to climb up to the top of the clock tower, look down and go, okay, this is kind of what Doc felt when, he was up here. But still, I was okay, so, but what about the rest of it? What about the Cafe 80s? There are so many other memorable buildings and things that took place in the Back to the Future movies. I just feel like it was a missed opportunity not to include those. Again, there was the Cafe 80s, there was the cafe, just the cafes throughout the 2 movies, the first and second movie. You could have done something like that. There could have been so much more. Even Biff, give me Biff or something. Maybe even Marty McFly's truck, the one that he wanted to propose to Jennifer at the lake or whatever. So there could have been a whole lot more to this game. I feel like the developers of this particular DLC got the license for it, and said, you know what, let's do the bare minimum, throw in a couple of buildings and a couple of vehicles, and call it a day. If I had the rights to doing something like this, I would have thrown in so much more. I'm sorry, I would have. Because, like, I mean, if you're gonna get the rights to something, especially as something as beloved as Back to the Future and something as iconic and classic as a Back to the Future IP, then go all out with it. Don't don't waste the potential. Why would you not do some really cool things? I'm sorry, like it didn't make any sense to me. And then the whole Jaws, another level was Jaws 19. That was okay. That was probably that was, I think, the fourth level, and that was a pain to do. But like, really, out of all of the buildings to clean, it's Jaws 19. Oh, and I'm sure it was because of something special that happens if you do a certain thing, which you'll see in a moment. Maybe that was the whole idea of why they made you clean this building. But still, like, again, this was the only building featured in this DLC, and that's just the second movie. There are so many other things in the second movie. Biff's tower, when, Biff changes history. Maybe do something with the almanac. That was a huge thing. Or maybe Biff's, mansion, the room. There could have been so much more. It would have been great. And then for the fifth level, it's just Emmett's train. And Emmett's train in this scenario, this mission or level, isn't even in the Old West. It's at the end of the movie when Emmett Brown, I guess, comes back to say, bye to Marty as him and Clara ride off into the sunset with his kids. But anyway, like, and the whole premise of this is you are the cleaning crew for the props for the movies. Like, and it's annoying because you get the text on the side, like the people talking. It's just canned dialogue that doesn't need to be there. Like, oh, I predict Jaws 18 or Jaws 19. Second prediction this. Third prediction this. I'm like, who cares? Like, all you're doing is recounting the movie on the right. Like, it's stupid. I mean, I'm sorry. I could have done without the canned text dialogue on the right-hand side. Like, I already know the movies. The fact that you're referencing it in a text like that doesn't mean anything to me. What would mean more to me is if you took the time to provide better fan service for the people that know this movie in and out. Like if you did Star Trek, for example, don't just do the Enterprise and call it a day. I mean, there's so many other, Deep Space Nine, there's so many other things that you could do with something like that. I'm just saying, like, there's more. So, all in all, like, I'm okay with this DLC. I would recommend it on a sale, maybe 50% off during a deep sale, something like that. I think it's more reasonable at the $3 to $5 price tag, considering there's only 5 levels. It only took about 3 hours to do. And of course, there's a couple of those levels where there's always that one component that's hidden somewhere and you can't find it because the game is so like, you need 1% more cleaning on this particular item in order to clear it. That's annoying. I hate when games, like, it's a secret. Like, I always get to 99% and then it's just dread from there on out because I don't want to find that last 1% because it's just so annoying. So yeah, what you're getting here is 5 levels. Yes, there are these little special one-off things that typically happen, but they only last for like 5 to 10 seconds, and then after it's done, I'm like, oh, that's it. I guess I'm going to move on to the next level then. Again, kind of disappointing, but, so I do recommend it because it is PowerWash Simulator, and I do enjoy this game, but I think get it on a sale, it'll be better then. All right, well, this is Vince. Thanks for watching. Catch y'all next time. Take care.